these last few days about the benefits and how yoga just helps us center when we're feeling uncertain or overwhelmed. I know I'm certainly feeling a bit of anxiety around all of the things going on in the world today. So as we allow all of those things to melt away into the background, the very far background, just become very focused on your mat. Notice the way your body melts down onto your mat. It's your safe space. Tune into any sensations that happen to appear while you're sitting here. Know that any feelings that come up through the course of the practice are genuine and deserve to be recognized. But we don't always have to give all of these sensations and feelings our fullest attention. Observing to know that they're there, and picking the ones that are the most important for you at the moment. Kind of a sense of triage. Let's go ahead and open the eyes if they're not already. Interlace the fingers in front of you. Turn the palms away, tuck the chin, and let's create a seated cat shape here. So pushing away with the hands, drawing the shoulder blades away from each other as if you're just trying to stamp your heart on the back of your shoulders, and tucking the chin down nice and low. And then inhale, lift all the way up. So drawing the arms up and overhead, and your shoulders might be a limiting factor here. So if you're really tight, I was in my garden at like 6 o'clock this morning. So if you're really tight, this might not be a good place to start. You can just bring your arms a little bit forward here. If you have the space, you might start to work the arms back so that you can just see them in your periphery. Nice, really exaggerating. We're taking about 3 breaths for every movement here. Exhale, push away. Allow yourself to feel the shape. Second breath to become kind of in tune with the shape. And then third breath to just enjoy being there. Last one, all the way up. Inhale, lift up. Maybe this time, drop the head back, look up towards the fingers. Nice, and then release all the way down. So we're coming onto our back, and we're going to do a little bit of some stretching before we do some of these shapes standing up. So let's go ahead and cross your right leg over the left. So this might be enough here. You might be able to take kind of that double wrap and just hook the toes underneath your calf of the left leg. If you can, perfect. If not, don't worry about it. Wherever you end up, just draw the knees in towards your chest here. So if you didn't hook the feet, you're going to grab onto the outsides of your opposite feet and just gently pull the knees towards your body. So you'll feel this way more on the right side than the left, but don't worry, we'll get to the other side. This is half of an eagle shape. Beautiful. Go ahead and release that. Bring both feet to the mat. On this side, if you're taking the double wrap, the toes just hook and then you pull in, or you grab onto the feet and pull those in towards you. Now, if this shows up in the knee, you can grab onto anywhere on the leg. You're just using a little bit of pressure to deepen this stretch. any kind of exertion into it just yet. If you want to interlace the fingers underneath, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, the hands can just come onto the mat. And then lowering all the way down. So crossing right ankle over left or left over right, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to come up and over onto our tabletop shape. So finding your way to your hands and knees. Knees are underneath the hips, hands are underneath the shoulders, and extend that right leg nice and long. So once you get here, we're going to take a moment to zip the belly in and up, and then extend the left arm long. So opposite hand and leg. And then from here, as you exhale, I want you to find a little bit more length. Inhale, really reach out through the toes and the fingers. And then exhale, elbow comes to knee, push through the back, that same shape that we did when we were seated, elbow to knee, and then reach long. 2 more just like that, elbow to knee, reach long, elbow to knee, and then reach out of the shoulder. So a little bit more core work here. We're going to bring the hand, that left arm, to cactus. And then as we bring the right knee in, you're going to fold that left arm down. So you're just, again, tapping elbow to knee, but you have to think about it because instead of going forward, the arm is coming out to the side. So it's like a walk and chew gum kind of situation. And that's 3. We're going to do 5 of these because it takes 3 to figure out what's going on. 4, nice, and 5. Cactus arm, kick that right leg out. Beautiful. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Sit back onto your shins. We're going to wrap the left arm underneath the right and take the wrap in the hands, opening up through the shoulders. So draw your awareness to your breath once again. It's your touchstone. Anytime we do something that's a little bit more of an exertion, coming back to the breath and noticing what's going on. So remember which arm you have underneath here. It's going to be important in a moment. Let's go ahead and release and come back to that tabletop shape. So left leg this time, right arm. Taking about 3 breaths to find the shape. So again, if you have a shiny surface, you know I'm big on shiny surface. If you have a shiny surface and you can look at it, or even in your camera, then you can see that your hips are square, your shoulders are square. Try not to overarch the back, because when you do that, when you drop through the belly, you're not getting the strength in through the core. Elbow taps the knee underneath, and then reach long on the inhale. Elbow taps and reach. Elbow taps and reach. Draw that right arm to your cactus. Same thing with the leg. Bring it in, tuck and tap and open. So believe it or not, this works a little bit of the transverse obliques. So a little bit wrapping around the side. 2 more. And there's like a 5-second delay in my camera, which is kind of weird. And then go ahead and put the right hand down, the left knee down, sit back onto your shins, and his right arm going underneath the left. Better remember that. Bending the elbows, hooking the middle finger on the thumb, and sitting down into this shape. So you can start to fold yourself in, tucking the chin. Maybe drawing the arms away, the hands away from your head. If you play with this, you'll find the shape that works for you here today. Beautiful. Go ahead and release. Shake it out. Let's find our way to our plank shape, our high plank. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are under, or toes are underneath the heels, and find a nice straight-ish line, and then puff up the upper back. So it's like you're a little bit high on the shoulders there, but the shoulders are over the hands. And then from here, up and back with the tailbone, downward facing dog. Look at your hands if you like. Make sure that they're shoulder width. Nod your head, shake your head. Push the heels back. If you like, you can walk your feet a little bit closer to your hands if that feels good. Maybe bending the knees slightly. Good, let's find our way back to this plank shape. High plank, round through the upper back, pull the belly in, way up on the toes. See if you can find an even breath. Of course, you can always use your knees. Inhale and exhale. Next, inhale, find your way back to that downward facing dog. And this time, as we melt into dog, we find stillness. So see if you can become very, very still, looking between the knees or the thighs. Pull belly in, push tailbone back, drop the head. Let's go ahead and reach that right leg up behind us. Inhale long, and then step between the hands with that right foot, or step somewhere in the neighborhood and then use your hands to get you back there, and then reach all the way up. We're coming up into our crescent warrior. Back heel is lifted, reaching up. Nice, relax your shoulders. We're going to move through these poses a little bit slower, holding and tuning in to each one. So push back through the left heel. Engage through the front of that back leg. Notice if your shoulders are migrating up to your ears, relax them down. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and sweep the arms back, push onto the toes, and hinge over that front leg. So flying warrior, reaching long. This is enough on this shape. You don't have to go any further. You can interlace the fingers behind you and press the knuckles away if you want a little bit more in the shoulders. Now notice if you're dropping and dumping into the thigh here, lift up, it's a hinge. Should be plenty of space. Nice, on your next inhale, reach all the way up, release the fingers, look up. Nice, and then we're going to bring the fingertips to the mat on either side of that front leg and step back right into your downward facing dog. So pull that heel in, step back, upside down V. Take 3 breaths here. Notice what's going on. Right side perhaps feels a little differently. Maybe there's some sensation there. Pull belly in. Relax shoulders away from ears. Next, inhale, left leg reaches up. Pull that knee in towards your heart space. Look between the hands and rock forward as you step that left foot down. Inhale up into that crescent warrior. Nice, take your time here. So building into that pose, noticing what's going on. If you have an injury or an imbalance, maybe that is affecting what's going on with you. Notice if you're overarching, can you draw in Mula Bandha? That's that skinny jean, right? So you pull up, lower abs there, and sink down. Exhale, sweep the arms nice and long behind you. Interlace the fingers, push the knuckles away, look down at the big toe. Now you know where you're going on this one. So sometimes the second side, we tend to cheat a little. Build the pose, relax your shoulders back. If you want to place your hands on your rump, you can certainly do that. Otherwise, float and become a little bit more engaged. Nice, one more breath here. Maybe you can sink a little bit lower. Inhale, lift all the way up, reach up, and we're going to step back into our plank this time. Hands come down, pull that heel in, step back, top of the push-up. Knees come down to the mat. We're going to take 3 modified tricep push-ups here. So the feet are together, or you can cross them. whatever works. And then tricep push-ups, the elbows reach back. So you're just going to lower 1, lower for 2, and then lower for 3, and then curl the toes under, find your way up and back to your downward facing dog. That's the vinyasa we're going to do today. So get used to those 3 push-ups. Come forward, find your way over the hands here into your plank. I don't know if you can tell, but I am breathing heavy too. This is not easy for me. Inhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg reaches up and back, and then steps between the hands. Inhale, reach all the way up, crescent. On the exhale, sweep the hands back, find your way to your flying warrior, and then inhale, reach up, crescent. On this one, we're adding on, both hands come down either side of that front foot, and then float the left leg off the mat. So we're in a supported warrior 3. If your surface is uneven or squishy, this is a little bit more challenge. You can go ahead and start to float the shoulders even with the hips coming into your traditional warrior 3. So think about that plank, it's the exact same shape. Push the heel away, pull the belly up and in. Look right down at underneath your nose. Good. And then from here, we're going to reach all the way up with the hands. Bring that knee with you, standing all the way up, falling out of balance if you must, reaching your hands overhead. Nice. And then square off your hips. So that left one might come up or down, depending on how you're feeling today. And then look straight out in front of you. Pull the arms back. Flex through that left foot. Nice. Going to bend into the right leg. Hands come to heart center or your hips if you need a little extra, or you can keep them up. Bend into the right leg. Cross the left over the right, sitting down into your eagle. So it's like a chair with that wrap. And then the right arm is coming underneath. And then bring both hands down, step back left foot, step back right foot. Ooh, plank shape. Very nice. Inhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Ooh, we're gonna work through that through the whole other side. Here we go, left leg reaches, step between the hands. Reach all the way up. So we've been here for a lot of these. Those are my earbud here. Look up, hinge and fold. Nice. Inhale all the way up. The poses that we've moved through, we're just going a little bit faster through. Exhale, hands come down. Give yourself the support. Root down through that left leg. Float the right foot off the mat. Keep a bend in that left leg until you find your stability. And then float the heart. Find your way to that warrior 3. It can be wherever you want it. It can be right here, right here. Hands out in front of you is a stronger pose. Hands underneath you is more stable. Hands behind is great if you're just starting out or if you're on a squishy surface. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and draw that knee and stand all the way up. Reach up, look up, and then settle your eyes in front of you. Or again, if you have a surface, a shiny surface, look for your eyes here. Flex that right foot, push out of it. So if you were doing a handstand, I teach this pose in right before handstand a lot. You want to reach up and out. Nice. Cross that right leg over the left. Sit down, sit back. Again, if you want to take the double wrap with the toes, you absolutely can. And then it's left arm underneath your right. Take the double bind. And then sit back and sit down. Push the elbows out forward. If you want to take a more advanced version of this shape, you can hook the elbows over the knee. I'm going to hang out right here today. Good, one more breath. Just when you think you can't do it, just give it one more breath. Inhale, release all the way up, hinge, and find your way, warrior three. Push back, bend the left knee, step down, hands plant, back into your plank. Knees come down. You can cross those feet. 3 of those push-ups. It's good to get off the legs. Your arms aren't going to thank you here. So just 3, 2, 1, and push back into your child's pose. Forehead comes down onto the mat. Your arms are by your side, or by the side of your head, and your hands are in prayer. Your hands are in prayer. So notice how all that hard work creates this short, choppy breath, but it really gets you out of your mind. And then as soon as we slow down, the breath comes back, and all of a sudden, all of those thoughts that were pushed away come rushing back in. Draw your awareness to your breath. Try not to focus on any of those thoughts as they pop back in. Let's go ahead and look forward. Reach the arms out nice and long. We're going to add on. We're going to do that sequence again, but we're going to add on. So let's walk forward, find your way to your tabletop, and then if you're feeling frisky, find your way to your plank. Taking one breath here, inhale. And on your exhale, push up and back, down dog. Head is heavy, heels pressed to the mat. Right leg reaches up, step between the hands. Reach all the way up, find your way into that crescent. Exhale, hinge and fold. Look down at the toes. Nice, reach all the way back up for that in-breath. And on your out-breath, you're coming to that warrior three. So hands come to heart center. Float that back leg as you hinge. Inhale, stand all the way up. Draw the knee and push the ceiling away. And then cross left knee over right leg. Sit down. Hands can be at heart center, or you can hold on to a wall, or you can hook that left elbow underneath the right. Nice. Inhale. Spring back out of that shape. Reach up. Hinge as you float back into that warrior three. And then this is where it gets tricky. We're going to bring that left leg down, but plant that foot all the way down and windmill the hands open into a warrior two. Nice. Then relax and settle into it. Look out over the front leg. Sink low into this shape. Nice. Relax your shoulders. We've got 3 breaths here, so take your time about it. And notice what you need today. So maybe you need to be a little higher if your hips aren't quite open. If you have the room, you might get a little bit deeper into the shape and really work against that left leg, pulling up on the inner thigh. Maybe the shoulders is where the work is happening, and you need to really focus on extending your arms shoulder height. Look out over that right arm. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and flip the palm. Reverse this warrior. Left hand comes down, right hand up. Reach, reach, reach. Perfect. Left arm comes all the way forward inside the right. Peel the left heel off the mat and reach up. Easy twist. Both hands come down, step back into your plank shape, and then find your way to your downward dog. All right, you know where we're going. Left leg reaches, step between the hands, all the way up into that crescent. So each breath, your breath might be a little longer or a little shorter than mine. You kind of know where we're going. Hinge into that flying warrior. Reach long. Inhale all the way up. And then exhale, floating into your warrior three. Look down. Inhale, reach up, pop up, and then step that right knee over the left and sink down, left elbow under right. Perfect. All right, unwind, unravel, reach up, hinge, find your way back to that warrior three. Open the hips, bend the left leg, step right leg back, and windmill open into that warrior two, sorry. Look over the hands. Relax your shoulders. So this is kind of a rest here. Build your pose from the ground up to keep your mind busy through those breaths. Feet rooted, knees over ankles, drawing up on the inner thigh. Left thigh parallel to the floor. Mula Bandha, belly in, shoulders down. Reverse the left hand and reach all the way up. Nice. And then let's find our way to that twist. Right hand comes forward next to the left foot. Left heel peels up. Left arm reaches up. Now we're in a twist. Good job. Not an easy sequence to move this quickly, especially when it's hot and sticky. All this stuff is going on. Both hands come down either side of that left foot. Lift the left foot off the mat. Step back into your plank shape. 2 breaths. That was 1. Nice. Knees come down. Maybe cross the ankle, maybe just float those toes. 3 of those little chaturanga push-ups. 1, 2, 3. Sit back, child's pose. We're not here very long, just for about 2 breaths. Not as long as the last time. And then go ahead and reach all the way back up, sitting up over your shins here. So if you are, I'll turn so you can see me. So sitting up over your shins, unless your knee doesn't like it, and then you can come down. We're going to take a twist from here. So lifting up slightly, reach your arms out, and then pivot the right arm forward, left arm back, unless there's a wall behind you. And then slide that right hand to that left leg. Left arm reaches around the back. So you're really kind of twisty here. Once you find that shape, you can settle back down, hips to heels, and look over the left shoulder. If you need a little bit more from this shape, you can hook that left hand onto the right arm and then slide that shoulder open. But that's kind of an advanced shoulder opener on the left side. So if you can't get it today, don't worry about it. There will be other chances, right? Good. And then unwind, unravel. So unwrapping the arms, bringing them out and sitting up slightly. So you'll really feel the work in the thighs here. And then just drawing, hitting the wall, left arm behind, left arm to the right leg, right arm behind, and then sink down into the shape. So doing a twist like this, we don't have anything else to use as leverage. So the twist is literally your muscles. Anything your muscles can't do, you're not going to achieve here. We don't have the ground to use to prop you up, or when we cross the legs over, when we do them seated. We don't have gravity when we do a standing twist. Beautiful. Go ahead and unwind, unravel, and then we're going to just slide off the legs and go ahead and bring them out in front of you. Ooh-wee. So if you prefer to be on your mat, you can certainly do that. I'm just doing this for the way it looks for you guys to see me. Push the heels away and maybe work out any kinks you have there. Toes, heels, little side to side. And then find your way into your Dandasana, your seated staff. So you're rooting down into those sit bones. You should feel like those bony bones are really pushing into the mat. Pull the toes back. Lift the shoulders up and reach up. Look up in between the hands. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. And then we're hinging as we fold forward. Maybe peace fingers around big toes, unless that's not for you today. Then you can just bring your hands to your shins, your knees, your pant legs. And again, this isn't one we want to pull down into. So if you can almost get the feet and then you use kind of your muscle strength to pull you in, I would prefer not to do that. Just let gravity pull you in. And then look down. So I'm thinking at this point, if anything was weighing on your mind as you came to class, other than where the heck is Tammy, if anything was weighing on your mind, it probably is gone now, because we really had to think about that sequence. Maybe sink a little lower, fold a little deeper. And that is by and large the benefit of movement and breath. Nice. Inhale, reach all the way back up, sitting up nice and tall. Same thing, we're going to forward fold, but we're going to take a straddle split to do it. If this is not your shape and this creates like a tenderness or a cramp in your hip, you can fold one leg in at a time and do this shape that way. Otherwise, go ahead and find your version of your straddle split today, and maybe it's not the one we did yesterday or the next day or even tomorrow. And let's turn and look towards the right foot. So you want to look over that right foot and then gluing the left hip down, melting down over the knee here. So again, this is a warrior two without the leverage and gravity that we have to get this hip open. So we're literally just using muscles and joint mobility to get you here. And even if you can use your arms to kind of pull you into it, try to keep from doing too much of that. This is kind of like a, how much can I do without using anything else? Kind of an exploration. Keep rooting left hip down. If it's floating off the mat, adjust yourself so that it's down. And then go ahead and walk back up. We have one more side to do, folding over towards the left side and squaring up your shoulders, rooting down the right hip before you go into it, and then melting down over the leg. Go ahead and lift back up. Come back through center. Use your hands, draw the legs back in, either taking some windshield wipers or a butterfly. I'm going to use the windshield wipers today. A little side to side here. And then we're going to sweep the legs all the way down, coming onto your back. So when we get down here, go ahead and find a nice long shape. So just reach the legs out long down towards the one end of your mat and the hands overhead, and let your back arch here. And then draw the right knee in. Give it a nice tug, wrap the fingers around the shin and pull it in. And then gather up the left knee to join Apanasana. And then release the right leg long. Hold on to the left. And then left leg goes down the mat. Arms go back overhead. Release the fingers if you have them bound. Walk your body over towards the left side, so creating a little sickle shape, and then your feet come over to the left as well. So now you're in a half moon on your back. So it might feel crunchy on the left side, but really open on the right. That's what you're looking for. Come back through center, stretching out nice and long. Create that arch in the back. And then as you exhale, push it back down. Hands go over towards the right. Feet go over towards the right, creating that half moon or that sickle shape. And then back through center. So your feet are opposite corners here. Your arms are by your side. And then don't even give yourself, your mind, a chance to wander. Go right to your breath. And just observe the cadence of the breath. Try not to have any kind of technique to the breath or manipulation of your ins and your outs. Just let it come and go. It's definitely an exploration here. Let your focus drift away from the breath. Try not to fixate on anything physical. Don't worry about your body, your breath, anything else going on there. Just let it come and go. Begin to bring movement back to fingers and toes. Maybe creating some gentle side-to-side movement with the head. Rolling over towards your right side and pausing there. Using the strength of your hands to push yourself up from the mat, finding your way to a seated shape. Allowing your eyes to stay closed, perhaps. working into the breath, drawing all of your awareness into the inhale and the exhale. We're going to extend the inhale to a count of 6 or 7, whatever is your furthest point for your breath. What's the longest you can draw that in? And then once you get to the top of that breath, pause at the top, just for about a blip. And then slowly start to let that breath out. You can open mouth sigh if you feel comfortable doing so. Drawing it out, squeezing from the belly. And then when you're completely empty, pausing at the bottom. Inhaling, again, stretching the length of your inhale as much as possible. When your lungs and your torso are completely full, pause at the top before open mouth exhale. Inhale all the way in. Pause at the top. Exhale all the way out. And then just allow the breath to come as it will. Notice that you're pretty much thinking about nothing else at this point. Bringing your hands to heart center. Notice the feeling of calm. Notice the feeling of heightened awareness, perhaps. Everything just seems a little bit sharper, a little bit more in focus. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat this afternoon. Have a fabulous weekend. Namaste.